mentioned it at the top of the show, but I've had enough of this Karl guy, quite frankly. Much like the very brave Rose McGowan or Jackie Robinson, sometimes you need a trailblazer to inspire others to follow suit. And that's what Tom Myers is today, I believe. Tom Myers finally put this weasel in his place. And I've never had the balls to say it. Vinny Paulino, I know, feels the same way as me. He's never had the guts to go against this guy. And finally, we're free. We're unburdened, thanks to Tom. So I want to go over this tape. GD Fenderson, we mentioned we may have to give in and have these boys on, GD and Tom Myers. I'm not sure. I'm still a little torn. GD seems more sore at us. Tom defends us here when we are mentioned in the same breath as those cowards at WATP.
When I watch this, I do not see love coming from GD Fenderson's eyes.
No, GD is not quite as sold on us, but Tom does his best to try and sing our praises.
Here we go. BNP versus WATP.
Mm-hmm.
GD said in his description on that you were attacked, not attacked. What do you say? Bashed, right? Or
trashed? I said trashed.
Trashed.
I said he was trashed like us by those other podcast companies.
By the other podcast. Now, is it the same one that trashed us? Do you know? Is that same?
The Blind Mike Project trashed both of us, and I think.
Well, let's hold off a second. I like to think, as I explained to Tom, there is an episode of Why You Laughing called Tom Myers, the worst comedian in the world, or whatever it is. First of all, there's a little thing called satire, GD. Obviously, we're being hyperbolic, but me and Tom talked it out. There's a misunderstanding, People get angry. People get over things. So did we overreact? It's possible. But for GD to try and lump Tom and him into the same breath, it's a little ridiculous. But I'm sorry, GD, continue.
Yes, and at this point, Tom actually raises his hand. He never gets called on, but he wanted to object right away.
Thank you, Tom. This guy, it started off, me and Tom, we were frosty at first. And then I interviewed him. I like to think maybe we became acquaintances at this point. This is a full-blown friendship. Tom and I are brothers.
Oh, good God.
Okay. Hamburger? What is that? Is that podcast? I think it's called.
Who are these garbage podcasts?
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
You nailed it.
So, do you know? Did you know about this, or did you find out by like a fan who had listened?
Tom chomping at the bit to defend me. I appreciate that. He's had his hand raised. He's like, I'm a pro. I'm gonna let these guys talk. I don't want to interrupt, but what they're saying about my buddy Mike, it's not right.
He's about to jump through the screen with this.
I like it. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah. I got sources. I got moles. I got people everywhere.
I got a mole, but
hold on. Am I one of them? I'm not going to say. That's not your business, quite frankly. But am I talking to Tom about some of the stuff behind the scenes to me? It's possible.
Really?
I'm just saying.
I'm saying
Tom has good sources is all I'm saying. I don't know if I'm one of them.
Chad Zumach, I believe, is one of them.
Well, maybe Chad's also very insightful, as we'll hear.
Believe it or not, I'm cool with them. What basically it stemmed from.
Hold on. No. You skipped over the best part. You hear that again. Who's he cool with?
Oh, but
Blind Mike, but believe it or not, I'm cool with them. What basically it stemmed from was basically a misunderstanding over a booking on his podcast.
Okay, absolutely. And quite frankly, the episodes where we've made fun of Tom, that's on me. And there was a lot of venom and anger coming from me. But I was a sore loser. Tom kind of put me in my place a little bit. He said, he's got HACKRIDE messaging him very unprofessionally, all sorts of nonsense getting in his. He's HACKRIDE, as he often does, is going off, thinking, doesn't know who the fuck he is.
Okay.
And Tom didn't know how to read that exactly. And Tom's a man who's been around for a long time. He's an established comedian. So for HACKRIDE to get in Tom's business and be like, hey, you got to do this show, that was unprofessional, quite frankly. And I'm glad Tom called him out for it. Tom took that anger out on me, which I don't think is right. But as brothers do, we skirmish once in a while. We get into it. But then at the end of the day, we still love each other. Right,
I'm just
Casey?
gonna move. Yeah, I'm moving on. I'm taking it for the team.
Okay, good.
I'm very angry at this Tom Myers guy, but we're just moving on. Here we go.
Some missed lines of communication. It was
Absolutely.
straightened out. I'm cool with them.
He sent me to a lady that didn't
We're
exist.
cool with him. Did you hear that?
Okay,
We're
I'm sorry,
cool.
I'm sorry. I called the lady 100 times. She doesn't exist on this planet.
No. Water under the bridge, Tom. Don't even worry
No.
about it.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, now we're all friends. Can I talk to her? Does she exist? All right, moving on. Sorry, I'm letting it go.
Who Are These Podcasts is basically just like an Opie and Anthony ripoff. And Opie and Anthony is basically just like a low grade version of the Howard Stern show.
Yeah.
And
It's right there.
so it's basically like a ripoff of a low grade version of
Actually, the
probably
one
one
thing
of
he's
the
not right about in this. Now you're not going to make me
Now I'm
break.
supporting-
No.
now just trying to support our guy, man. Come on.
greatest like radio shows of all time, like one of the greatest morning show hosts of all time. So it's like they're completely like unoriginal, and like they stole the concept of Jocktober from Opie and Anthony. It's basically like Anthony Cumia with just like a fraction of like racism and just
if I may, Tom, you're a pro. You don't want to burn all your bridges. Fraction is going a little light on them, if I may be so bold. You should hear them off air. What Karl is, the rhetoric that Karl is spewing. So fraction is being generous. That's the thing about Tom. He's being diplomatic here. He's trying his best not to go too far with Karl. And I appreciate that. I respect it. But a fraction, I mean, my God, the N-words. You want to hear real banter. Jesus.
having like women on to only speak when they want them to speak, basically.
How did they find
That
you?
is what
Did you
happens, right,
have,
Electra?
Because
I think so.
Yep, perfect as always. All right, continue.
Right.
Just one beat off. She's getting so much better.
I know. I think what you just said is pretty accurate. They are obsessed with opiate. They are obsessed with 90s morning radio, and anybody who was on Stuttering John, Jackie Martling, anybody who has had any connection to those things, they follow them and look for podcasts they're on. So the question is, did you have somebody that from that era on your show or something? How did they find you?
It is. Karl is obsessed, and it's sad, frankly. And we'll get back to this clip in a second. I just want to remind everyone, we did a bonus episode about Howard Stern that you can check out now for Patreon and YouTube members. Also, if you want to go back to the archives of Why You Laughing, we've done a bunch of episodes about Opie and Anthony, Howard Stern, and many other topics. So if you want to check that out, go to blindmike.net. That was unrelated. I just wanted to throw that in. And let's get back to this, because they're giving really... Karl is obsessed with those shows, and it's a little sad. I mean, you're in your 40s, for God's sakes. Grow up. You know, it's time to grow up. Put down the Star Wars toys and your radio posters and be a man, for Christ's sake, like my guy Dog here is saying.
Yeah, these guys are hilarious, by the way. Comedy.
It's very good.
Yes.
No, I mean, it's when you've been doing this as long as me, like you tend to get your share of haters and trolls, and
Sure.
and 90% of them are garbage, and then you have the 10%, which are the podcasts that go after you, and then which are just outright shit. So it's basically like we're
I didn't get... Yeah, no, I agree with those numbers. 100% of them. I thought usually you say 90 of them are like good people deep down, and 10% are just trash. But no, Tom's going with the full 100% are terrible people. And I don't know about those numbers. I'd have to talk to Tom about the specifics. But I'll tell you what, he's got the 10 right. Because these guys on Who Are These Podcasts, and what they do, I don't know if these guys ever mentioned that. They probably don't listen enough. But I say what they do is find specific clips. Like they go out of their way to trash Tom. Tom could crush for an hour. And these guys will just sift through, find the one joke that maybe didn't land, and they'll play that. That's the type of thing they do there. Here, we play both sides. You know, if Karl wants to respond to this, we'd play that. Even though I don't feel right having a guy with some of his beliefs about race on my show. I don't like platforming him, but we are open and honest about that stuff. And I think that's what Tom is getting at here.
Electra, we have a timely super chat. You want to read this real quick?
of course, from Who Are These Podcasts for $5. You've made a powerful enemy.
No, don't read this. You're reading the words of a racist, Electra.
Oh, wait.
Don't read
I
that.
take it back. All of it.
Typical, flashing his money in my face. That is what he does, trying to silence me with his dollar. Well, it's not going to work anymore, pal.
It's basically like word of mouth. Hey, here it's about there's this guy, and we'll just go ahead and trash him for a little bit, and and then they're fans, but basically like basement dwellers who like if they see you live, they'd never come out, they'd never do anything anyway. They just stay behind a keyboard because they don't have the balls to actually say the shit that they're typing to your face. And it's basically like 3 or 4.
This thought just popped in my mind. I hate to interrupt this. I did ROTC this week, and people warned me about Mersh. I don't know. You got to fill me in, because he seemed like a lovely guy. He sang my praises, and that's really all you need to do. And he mentioned he saw me. He said, anytime I'm on Who Are These Podcasts, he's watching. So to the people who found me on other programs like that, welcome. We appreciate you being here. But frankly, I don't condone any of the stuff that happens on that show. I like that you people see my talent on that show, but I can't condone it. Doesn't make any sense.
Does not control you. So it's not that much.
Did you disagree with
that? I could hook you up. Believe it or not, I could hook you up with Blind Mike. He's actually a very chill guy. He actually
thank you, buddy. Hey, you too.
For me.
That's what I say to the ladies when I'm out.
Stuck up for you? That's what brothers do, my man. Don't even sweat it. You need a favor, Tom? I'm there for you, my guy.
Box Eating Dad with a great one says basement eating dad.
Basement enjoying dad.
That's sort of the point I'm making is like people over there. Yes. That's where the basement dwellers are over there on WATP, and we go outside. We touch grass, as they say. I
don't.
You look at me. I'm very active. I'm a guy who's just out there. I go for my morning jogs. I'm out there. We live lives. We're not just focused on Opie and Anthony all the time. I don't know if people want to look at the subjects, but if you don't like this segment, you can stick around for the other things we're talking about today. But yeah, losers that talk about radio and podcasts, they're nerds. I agree with Tom.
In a beef I had with another podcaster. So
wow. That's unusual. If somebody would, in any capacity, stand up for somebody who's being trashed.
Hey,
generally
no, it's what I do, dog. Don't worry about it. Jesus. It is just what I do. It's like thanking me for waking up in the morning. It's just it's instinct.
The norm is for people to pile on. Pile on. We don't even know the guy, but let's just pile on.
Yep, not me though.
If I'm piling on someone, or if I'm going after someone, I've got a pretty good reason to do it. Like unless someone royally like me over, like someone like podcast Karen, the host of
exactly.
Who Are These Podcasts.
It was on the tip of my tongue before you even said it. We kind of clunked heads there. That was the first name that came to mind when you talk about someone fucking people over. It's Lady K. That is Tom is. We watched Tom destroy Ray DeVito. This is a masterpiece. Ray DeVito was just him finding his groove. This is beautiful job, Tom.
Like Kevin Brennan or someone like that. Like they have to really deserve it.
It is, yeah. It's a lot like Karl's show is a lot like Kevin Brennan's show. I think they put the same amount of preparation in. I think Karl stole a lot of those jingles from Kevin Brennan, actually. So I think it's a lot of the same effort and the same entertainment value that a lot of people get. Those two shows.
You can tell Tom is watching.
Tom is nailing it. Tom is feeling himself.
Yeah. He's watching a lot of Chad Zumach and Kevin Brennan. Tom is like fired.
I think they're watching a lot of him.
Well, probably.
Huh? Yeah.
I got it backwards. I'm sorry. This one's called Karl's Lies.
Oh, don't even get me started. I could probably add a few myself, Tom. But let's hear.
Now, did you listen to the Who Are These Podcasts? Did you listen to their critique of you? Do you
Not really, because they're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about.
Good for you, Tom.
They're pretty much documented liars that host is as well. I listen regularly to Chad Zumach. He does a show called Kumia's Cucks,
Right,
and it airs on his channel. So he goes after like Gino Bisconti, Chrissy Mayer, WATP, all those guys. He's keeping like a running tally of various like lies that he's told, and the guy lies like just as much as like Trump does. Like Trump has like 30,000 documented lies. Like
GD is taken aback. He's at a loss for words. Let me hear that again. Where Tom's like, this guy lies as much as Trump. GD can't believe it, and GD, I don't blame you. I like at first it took me. We're doing WATS one week, and I'm thinking this guy possibly lies more than Trump. And then wouldn't you know, another lie falls out of his mouth, and I was like, oh my god, he does.
And the guy lies like just as much as like Trump does. Like Trump has like 30,000 documented lies, like his first term in office. This is according to the New York Times. I'm being nice because it's almost Valentine's Day. And like he came up with like a couple dozen, Chad Zumach did, in lies that
great work by Chad, by the way. It's very important work that he's doing, and I'm glad that somebody's doing it, because like I said, I take blame as much as the next guy. I didn't have the guts to do any of this, so I appreciate Chad jotting some of those down.
Watching these men's faces hear this story from Tom Myers about Chad Zumach is it's amazing.
Just hearing GD goes, holy shit.
And the jokes. These guys are telling.
It was like you never heard of the Holocaust and you were trying to explain it to someone. He's like, no, these were human beings. That couldn't have happened.
I blink and I think I'm watching the Legion of Skanks. I'm laughing so hard with these comedians.
It is. It's good stuff.
He is told.
Wow.
In like 2 like 5-minute clips, basically. So in the span of 2 days. Yeah.
All right.
It's tough.
This one's called Pick and Choose.
Well, this is what I mean. Yeah, I've been on Who Are These Podcasts many times, and I'd love to be invited back. But what they do when I'm on there is they say, hey, Mike, here's your script. We have to destroy these people to make Karl feel better. I don't even really get to talk to Karl. He has producer Chris. He thinks he's like Letterman. Like he makes producer Chris do the pre-interview with me. And then, I'm lucky enough to be on camera with Karl once the show starts. So yeah, I've been a good soldier and followed those orders. I hope that's the type of thing they're exposing here. I'm not sure what kind of lies they're going to expose here, but that's my story and my journey.
Well, as you know, Mike, I was on WATP this Tuesday, and I got the script Sunday, and I was at rehearsal Monday, and then so it's
a lot like hosting SNL.
Yes,
where you're like, geez, it takes so much out of you. But it would be like hosting SNL, but Lorne Michaels does the monologue. You get none of the glory. You have this kind of taskmaster getting all the praise.
And God forbid you miss one word in the script. He kicked me off, Mike. He just kicked me off the air right at the beginning. 20 minutes in, he's like, "Bye, get out of here."
It is
done.
Yeah. He is. It's a dictatorship, and we've put up with it long enough. So thank you for the whistleblower, Tom Myers.
They did choose because I have some music on my own music on my YouTube channel. They chose the absolute worst representation.
Oh, of course they did. Of course, because that way they always like shows like that. They always. I'm sorry to cut you off just now, but I get riled up about this shit. They always
I don't blame you, Tom.
Worst representation of something, and then they run with it because it fits their narrative. Like
it's so funny. It's so funny. Tom is saying, I like honestly can't believe it, because when we were doing Brittany Broski's show a couple weeks ago, I was enjoying myself. I was like, this young lady, she is dynamite. She brings a new, fresh energy that I wasn't familiar with. Frankly, it made me feel young again. I'm becoming an older man. I'm in my 30s, and this Brittany Broski injected life into me, and I felt like I was one of the youth. I was kind of talking her language. And I tell Karl that, and he was like, "No, we have to take her down. We have to destroy every other podcast. And I was like, I don't know, Karl. I'll try and find something. He goes, try. You will find something. You know. And again, like he did earlier, he waves his money and his millions in front of me. And shamefully, I did what he said, but no more. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, and their reasoning here is a little weird because they're saying, like, why are people filming people that fall down and putting that on the internet? That's not funny. Just film them walking and being happy. What?
Right.
No, the internet is about the
what I
falling
wanted
down.
to do was say, hey, we could promote Brittany Broski for an hour, and he refused.
Yes.
Go ahead and pick like a stand-up clip of me. Like even if there's laughter in it, they're just like, oh my God, nobody laughs. Nobody laughs at all. And
That's a good that sounds exactly like him. I don't even want to laugh because I'm getting PTSD, sort of. I feel like he's in the room right now.
Yeah, he's not funny. Oh my God. And then they have these people who just like agree with them. And like there's absolutely no pushback. There's no like thoughtful discussion at all. Like whereas on my show, like there can be like, yes, we're all like-minded ilk, but at least there's like a difference of opinion in our analysis or like how the way we look at a particular issue. But who are these podcasts have none of it. It's shit. Like I said, it is a really bad Opie and Anthony knockoff, and Opie and Anthony is just like a shitty version of Howard Stern.
The guy, I don't think you need any more words. It's shit. I like that, Tom. He's so profound.
You should not disparage other shows, especially this one show that is shit. I mean,
is this like a support group for Karl victims?
I like to think it is. Yeah. I welcome. Hey, you know what? You don't believe me? Ask Cardiff about this. There's no way he would just go along with it. Like, he would tell you the truth. So ask Cardiff, ask my guy Tukey. They will back this up. I asked Tukey to come on and today, and he said he was just so exhausted from the arduous process of the last week of being on that show. He didn't have any words left in him. He couldn't speak anymore after what they put him through. So ask those guys, my brothers in arms. They've been through the same thing.
This next one's called Fraud.
I wonder who this is about, right, fellas?
Shocker.
See, I thought it was funny is when they made fun of me, they really played it safe. Like they only showed one clip of me that wasn't in the wheelchair. They picked the shittiest joke. I got picked by some financial guy who was doing this contest with comedians who could come up with the funniest joke with finance headlines. It was a really shitty gig. I won $50 from it. It was a shitty joke, and that's the only video they played.
And that's sad. That really is sad to pick. I bet if you found this guy's comedy, there's no chance. He sounds like one of the great voices of his generation. There's no chance you would just automatically find a bad. You'd have to sift through hours of whoever this is his stand-up. Like you'd have to, the amount of footage you'd have to go through to find a bomb, because he sounds very charismatic and interesting. So to sit there and try to humiliate this man who is wheelchair bound, it sounds like that is just disgusting. Typical hamburger.
His name is Stephen the Sitcom Ortiz.
And that sounds very modern and funny.
Yes.
I bet I bet he is really with the times, this guy.
Just based everything on that. And I'm just like, you guys really dug for that, didn't you? Because like that's like, if you look at all of my social media, it's the farthest thing down on all of the lists.
Yep.
You know, so
and everything,
like, wow.
Like everything they do is, from what I understand, I could be wrong about this. Like everything they do is rehearsed. Like
Absolutely.
they give people the clips to review ahead of time, and then like they come up with their own jokes for them. So they make it sound like it's all spur of the moment, but like really it's I wouldn't be surprised if they said, okay, guys, here's what you say right here. This is how you do this, and this is we come in and all this. Like basically all of the stuff that they accuse me of doing, they do. Like not being funny, That's pretty much it.
End of list. Why say more, Tom? I agree with you. Oh, man, there's such a weight off my shoulders. It is so nice to hear someone else say it. You know, when you're insecure about something and you keep it bottled up forever, and then some brave soul has the courage to get out there and talk about it, and you're like, I'm not alone. You know? I can come out of the shadows now and tell my story because of Tom Meyer. Thank you, Tom. And I'm sure many others will come flooding out. This is always how it goes with Cosby and Weinstein and Hamburger, any other monster. You know, one brave genius comes out, and then we all feel comfortable telling our stories. So the floodgates are open, pal. Hamburger, which I don't even think is his real last name. So
Can't be real.
Look into that.
Hi, Carl. Have me back.
Carl's in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Here. Go ahead, Electra. Read it again because Mike wasn't ready for it at the time.
No. This is. Remember, folks. This is bullshit, as we heard. More of his bullshit. Don't take it.
Karl saying, "You've made a powerful enemy."
Oh no!
You don't scare me anymore.
Go to blindmike.net for everything Blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Kragers did it.